Hey, welcome, Jen here. I am trying out a new camera today, so it's actually an old camera. It's just better quality, I think. So we'll see what happens. I think it is going to work out nicely for when I'm stationary. I'll still be using the phone when I'm on the go. Anyway, today we are talking about when people rain on your parade and they poo poo you when you're all excited about something and they act like they don't believe in you and they don't think you can do whatever it is you're saying you're going to do. Yeah, that's fun, right? Okay, we're going to talk about that. And I'm going to give you some ideas on how to overcome it when someone crushes your soul like that. So they don't actually crush your soul, it just lights a fire. I'm Jenn Kunkel. I'm the creator of the Wild Worth method to empower you to stop feeling insignificant, invisible, and unfulfilled, and instead unleash your wild, savvy self where you know exactly who you are, what you stand for, and you are confidently taking purposeful, inspired action towards your dream life, and you're enjoying the journey along the way. It is a lot easier to enjoy that journey when you have the people around you, behind you, supporting you, cheering you on. But sometimes that doesn't happen. Sometimes people just want to rain on your parade, poo-poo your ideas. Yeah, that's what I say, poo-poo your ideas. And I've even told people in my life before, I'm like, well, I didn't talk to you about that first because you usually just poo-poo on those things. And, sometimes people surprise you and they're supportive anyways, or in spite of the fact that they were not supportive in the past. Everyone, is at a different phase, or maybe their levels of confidence and you change over time when they see what you're really capable of. So don't just automatically assume that if someone was kind of down on you in the past that they would be in every instance. Anyway, so here's an example of when that happened to me. Like in my early 20s, I was going to school. I decided I was going to go to school for chemical engineering, and I had done administrative work up until then, and I actually worked in a place that had chemical engineers in the management, probably some in the manufacturing too, but the ones that I was talking to were in management, or one in particular, in fact. And I wasn't even still working there. I still knew some people there though, so I was there. This person says, hey, what's going on? What are you up to? What are you going to be doing? And I told him I was getting ready to go to, move out of town and go to school for chemical engineering. And he was just like, oh, that's hard. And it wasn't that he said, oh, that's hard, but it was the way he said it, where he didn't sound like he thought I could do it. Like he thought, oh, that's going to be what I heard was, oh, that's going to be too hard for you, in the tone and all that. So anyway, I've said one way to get me to do something is to tell me I can't, because that even inspired me more so in the back of my head, throughout the difficulty of school, because it was hard. I won't, I'm not gonna say it was easy breezy. It was challenging, and I had that like in the back of my head. And when I graduated, he definitely got an announcement, a graduation announcement, and letting him know I did it anyways, even though it seemed like it was gonna be too hard for me. Anyway, so there's an example there. Have you ever had that happen? Have you had somebody rain on your parade, or kind of discourage you, or make you feel like, I know I said make you feel because that's probably what it felt like at the time, but if you've listened to me at all, you know that I don't really believe people can make you feel anyway, except for, before you realize that. So has anybody ever, said something and then as a result you felt like, oh, discouraged, or like you started to doubt yourself because of the doubts that they put out there? We obviously don't want to do that. Those are that other person's doubts, or not always, but sometimes it can be someone's own lack of confidence and being concerned that they wouldn't be able to do it, or just not understanding the drive that you might have that they don't have, or even the skills that you might have that they don't have. So a lot of times when people say that, they have some sort of a fear around you being more successful than they are, or you achieving something. We hear this all the time. People start to grow and they start to achieve goals. They start to, kind of spread their wings, and their friends who are not in the same, on the same path start to act weird, act differently, treat them differently. Maybe they're doing this where they're kind of discouraging you, or like, oh, do you really want to do that? Oh, that's going to be a lot of work, or I don't think you're going to be able to do that. I just don't think, that seems too risky. Things like that. That's their beliefs coming up, so don't let their beliefs influence you. Don't let other people stop you from going after what you really want. So another thing that I did when I was out of high school, I seriously considered being a fashion designer, which I actually forget about that sometimes because it's so long ago and so far from what I would want to do now. So it worked out. But I remember I actually called a school and I was talking to a counselor. I think I had a phone appointment or something. And I just remember feeling like it seemed like she was discouraging me from moving forward on that. And ultimately I didn't decide to go. But, and I think a big part of it was because of that. So I have no idea if she picked up on something, but it seemed like it was almost instantaneous. So anyway, sometimes it works out when people discourage you, and sometimes it doesn't. I mean, who knows what would have happened, but it just seems weird to me that a counselor for school would be discouraging for someone to come to the school. But other people don't have the same thing on their heart as you do. So in my viewpoint, if God puts something on your heart that you feel really passionate and driven to do, or just even if it's just this little voice in the back of your head that keeps coming up, it's there for a reason. If it's coming from your heart, and not the external world of shoulds. Even if people think, oh my gosh, I would never do that, that seems crazy, they're seeing the world through a different lens than you are. They're seeing the world from a different perspective than you. They have different support structures. Maybe they don't have the same support structures that you have that make you feel like you can do this. Or maybe you don't even have them and you don't feel like you can do this, and you're worried and you have doubts. Don't let the doubts of other people, eat away at what you really want to be doing if it's truly on your heart to move forward with something. You need to find a way to overcome the doubts and of your own, and don't let other people's doubts in. So obviously that's easier said than done, but I do have other tools that can help you with that. And the more you grow, the more easily you are able to just sort of deflect the doubters and the haters and the people who want to crush your soul so they don't crush your soul, because they really don't want to crush their soul. They don't really want to crush your soul. It's really just their own insecurities for the most part, usually, anyway. And it doesn't mean that somebody's not a true friend if they don't support you. It just means that they don't have the same kind of mindset that you do, and they don't have the same kind of fortitude and determination that you do. And the more you reinforce those thoughts on yourself, the more easily you're going to be able to move forward and possibly even bring people with you. Now, if someone is dragging you down and they're constantly in your ear with doubts, and you already have doubts, you may want to limit your exposure to them, or have a conversation like, hey, I'd rather just not talk about this with you because you're always poo-pooing on my ideas. like I said to someone. And, sometimes that brings to light that, in my case, that brought to light that, oh, okay, so I need to stop doing that so she'll talk to me, and that's kind of what happened. It's sort of. You know, someone who tends to go down that negative road, it's not like a 2-second turnaround all the time, most of the time. So, what is something that you want to do that you might be having doubts about, and other people have discouraged you, and you have let that stop you? Let's turn that around. Let's relook at that. Let's re-examine that and see if that's still something that you want to go for. And let me know below. I'd love to hear from you. Thanks so much for tuning in. I want to hear from you, please. And remember, you are more powerful than you know. Much love. I'll talk to you soon.